Oh, hi, Heart Awakening Buddhism. I've just finished meditating, but the sun's just rising, so I'm just going to cover up. I'm just going to go to the window because I just want to show you the sun rising, and you might hear the birds chirping. But look, that's France over there. It's not, you won't be able to see it, but France is. You have mega eyes, you could see France, but obviously you can't. But look, you can just see the sun rising. There's a seagull passing by. I wonder if the seagull will come. No, it's not coming. But there's the mountains over there. But it's a new day dawning. People going to work on the bus. See the bus? So it's a new day. More seagulls. Look at the hills, look. The hills look magical. Anyway, I'm going to cover up again. So here's my hand coming. Do. Right. So I just wanted, that was the morning rising. So I just want to talk about Heart Awakening Buddhism. So excuse me. The other two videos I posted, that was about liberal thinking and new forms of Buddhism that are arising, and after listening to the two previous videos I just thought actually I want to continue to say some more. So regarding the spirit of Buddhism and this thing about being honest and facing the truth and not believing things because other people have told you, even if the Buddha tells you fuck Buddha was a shit stick. I mean, I lived in Japan for 2 years and they don't believe in showing respect unless you've won the respect, and that includes Buddha. So blasphemy against Buddha. Even Lin Chi, the Chinese founder of Zen, you know, the great Lin Chi, the Buddha is a shit stick. If you meet the Buddha, punch him in the jaw, all that kind of stuff. No, like so basically within that spirit of respectful disrespect, I want to say some things. I suggest that if you, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a practicing Buddhist, but I suspect if you honestly, with an open heart and using your analytical thinking capacity, if you seriously inspect the main tenets, the main teachings of basic Buddhism, of Theravada Buddhism, from which all later schools of Buddhism arise, if you inspect the base of Buddhist teachings, they're highly debatable and highly questionable. I'm speaking as a practicing Buddhist, as an ex-monk and someone who, I was meditating this morning, doing Buddhist practice this morning, so I'm speaking as what you could call a devout Buddhist. But I do want to say the premise of Buddhism is shit. I'd like to explain. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, no soul, impermanence and suffering. If you take the thing about impermanence, that nothing lasts forever, everything is impermanent, that's crap. That's shit. If you talk, the number one thing that is permanent is impermanence. If impermanence is the truth, then it's permanent. It's long lasting. If the sun comes and goes, if all planets come and go, if nothing is impermanent, if nothing is permanent, if everything is impermanent, then that's a permanent state. Impermanence is permanent. But there's many things, we only live 50, 60 years, so our experience of life is that many things are permanent. The sun is permanent, the earth is permanent, life is permanent. I think it's very unhelpful to view life from the supramundane point of view, that nothing is permanent, because in this life many things are permanent. And as I said, just one example, this video is unscripted, it's spontaneous, so I haven't planned, but I realised that many things are permanent. The only one I can think of now is impermanence. But if you think for yourself, you'll see that many things are permanent, or we experience them as permanent. And just because we experience them as permanent doesn't mean that actually they are impermanent. That's an assumption. It may be true or it may not, but if you're assuming that because we experience them as permanent, therefore they must be impermanent, then that's an assumption, and it's I would suggest in many things assumptions are wrong. Second thing, anicca dukkha, suffering. Suffering is inherent in life. Well, I would agree with that. I think most people run away from suffering, so I think the Buddhist take on suffering is quite correct. Anicca, dukkha, and anatta. I talked on the other video about this thing about no soul, the Buddhist interpretation. I'd like to say a little bit more. I think the theory of no soul does a lot of damage because it basically encourages human beings to deny themselves. If there is a soul, excuse me pointing the finger, but I'm pointing at you, if there is a soul and you deny it, then you're doing great damage to yourself, great psychological and emotional damage. And I would challenge, you can't basically, like the holy book of the Buddhists, or the holy book of the Quran, or the holy book of whatever religion, if you get into arguing chapter and verse about what the holy book says, you'll end up sticking your head up your bum. It's just you'll argue yourself in circles, and then people will quote different verses to you, and then you'll quote that verse. Trust your own experience, and my version is different from Buddha's. My experience, is different from Buddha's experience, and your experience will be different from Buddha's, and yours will be different from mine, and we all have different. So all we can trust is our. I suggest that to trust other people's experience will not lead us to a state of awakening. The Buddha trusted his experience. Lin Chi and the Zen masters, they trusted theirs, and their experience was to say goodbye to the Buddha, was not to follow him, but to follow themselves. In Mahayana Buddhism, you look to the guru. You don't look to Shakyamuni Buddha, or you might do, but in many traditions you don't. So I would just say, just because it's Buddhist tradition doesn't mean it's true. There's many things that are highly debatable within Buddhism. Paccekasamuppada, the three natures of existence, even the four noble truths. I can't think what they are, to be honest with you, because I'm just getting a bit excited making this video, so I should calm down a bit. But yeah, I just want to say that just because something is Buddhism, because it's a Buddhist theory, as Buddhists, we shouldn't accept it as true. In fact, I would say, if we follow the principle of hoping for the best but planning for the worst, that seems to be quite a wise principle. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I think if we follow that principle, then we should disregard all Buddhist theory and assume it to be mistaken, assume it to be wrong until we investigate it. And then when we've investigated it, still don't believe it, just think, well, actually my perception is not that great, so I might be wrong. There's Ajahn Chah, who's a famous master in Thailand. He and some of his senior disciples say the most powerful Buddhist mantra of all time is the mantra of I might be wrong. So just to repeat, the mantra is I might be wrong, I might be mistaken, but I know that it's quite easy to think that I know the truth, I'm right. So I offer this video for liberal Buddhists, for heart awakening Buddhism. Okay, thank you, bye.